Good morning, welcome back to my channel. We're not going to be out in the garden today, but we are playing with garden stuff. I decided that I wanted to go through my seeds and see what we need to start planting for spring planting, which is crazy to think about in the middle of December. But also, I need to get some peas soaking so that we can get those planted out where I had pulled out the other ones previously. So, I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to go with the seeds, so I just brought out all of my seed stuff. I have some seeds that I've saved, some seeds that my sister gave me, some more seeds that I've saved, some more seeds that I've saved, and then a few that just need to be organized into where they belong. Some envelopes for putting saved seeds. And so, first thing I'm going to do, another one for saved seeds. First thing I'm going to do is go through my pea seeds, which is this bag. They don't fit into a container, so I just keep them in a bag. I probably should keep them in a paper bag, but I don't, so there's that. But I am going to find the peas that I want to plant out there and then get them soaking in a jar of water because they need to soak for a few hours before I plant them out. So I have a glass of water right here, just a little cup jar. And we'll go through, dump out the peas. Oh, not all of them. One of the packs looks like it busted open. If it's just one pack that busted open, and then there's a bunch of loose peas. If it was just one pack that opened, then I can still tell what variety they are. If not, then it'll be a mix. All right. Looks like it was just the one pack that opened. So these are more than likely all from Cascadia packet. And I have a remedy for that now. I brought my washi tape. And this is what I use on packets that don't reseal themselves when you open them. So I'll be using that on this now. What does it say? This sweet potted dwarf snap pea produces bushels of tasty 3.5-inch pods on 36-inch tall plants. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one that'll be really tall to go up that trellis. So we're not going to be planting this one right now. This is more of something that I would plant in like a tomato cage or give it a couple of poles for support, but it doesn't need a full tall trellis on it because it says 36-inch height. That's not very tall. So take my tape so that we don't have that spilling accident again. And just tape right across the top so it's shut now. What does this one say? This one does not say. This is a King Tut purple variety. I'm gonna have to look up how tall that one gets because it doesn't say on here. But this one does have a reseal spot, but the glue is not sticky anymore, so I'm also going to tape that one. So I'll put that one here so I can look up the height that it gets to. This one says 1 to 2 foot tall plants. This is the one that I planted out there that is so much shorter than the other one. That's why it's short. So, not planting that one again. That's the one that I had planted out there that did not get tall. It says 55 days, delightful dwarf variety, matures early, plant in spring or fall, produces 3-inch pods on 1 to 2 foot tall plants. So, a short plant is not what I'm looking for this time. Super snappy. I think this is a shelling pea. I'll have to look that one up. But again, it's coming open, so I'm going to tape it shut because we don't need mixed up spilled peas in here. Put that on my lookup pile. This is another sugar bomb, which is not open yet. That's the one that's 2 feet tall. We don't want that right now. And another one that's open. I'll probably plant these 1 to 2 foot tall ones if we get like a freeze that kills my pepper plants or something, and I have to clear out a whole pepper bed, then I'll fill it up with this. But I'm not planting these ones where I want them to grow tall. This one is called Green Beauty. It looks like it's a snow pea, which I also like. Snap peas and snow peas are good. It says nothing about how tall the plants get. It just says 5 to 8 inch long peas. So I'll have to look that one up too. Oregon Sugar Pod. I got that one at Home Depot. 28 inch vines, which is not what I want. I grew these last year though. They were good. They didn't get super tall like the package says. It says 28 inch vines, so not something to put on a big tall trellis that I'm looking for. And that's that same Green Beauty variety that's over here. And this is a packet that I have no idea what it is because it's not labeled as anything. It's just peas. So I'll grow that sometime when I want to do an experiment, but I'm not looking to experiment right now. And then this is my saved seeds from last year. And these ones did grow all the way up an arch trellis up over my head. So I'm thinking I might just start some of these today and then I can look those up later. When you save a seed, it's going to be a little more acclimated to your area and will do better like the second year. So I'm going to try these today. I'm going to plant them along that spot where we pulled out the short peas. I might even pull out the other spot where I have the shorter peas planted, the sugar bond, because I would really like the tall trellis to do its job as a tall trellis. So I'll get out a handful of these. And there's a couple different varieties in there, but they were all really tall. All right, there's about 40 seeds in my hand, and I'm just gonna soak them all. Some of them might not germinate because I saved them. And even if they do all germinate, pea seeds are all right, being planted a little bit densely. Like that says what does it say? That says plant spacing 4 inches apart for that variety of peas, but I don't think I've ever gone more than 2 inches apart. And my peas grow just fine. I just have to make sure I put the right variety where I want them. That's been my problem. So there's our peas. They're gonna soak for, I don't know, until I feel like going outside and planting them. 5 or 6 hours. I'm gonna set those over there. These are the ones that I need to look up. I'll put them over here so they don't get lost. These are some microgreens I had tried to grow and wasn't successful, but microgreens are just seeds for other stuff. Like this one says red acre cabbage, lacinato kale, mustard, cabbage, pak choy. I could individually sow them and get the individual plants out of them, but for now I'm just going to put them in my lettuce box. Alright, sorry about that. My dad came in and I talked to him for a minute while I was going through some of my bean seeds. So I'm separating bush beans and pole beans. I have 2 big packets of jade, and then I have all of these different ones. I got these ones at Walmart, and I grew them, and these are some of the ones we cleaned out in my garden clean out recently. These were my favorite. I really liked these Gold Rush ones. Gold Rush bush bean. And then the other one that I had grown in that spot, if anyone was wondering, was the Ferrari bush bean. They were good too. Put my bush ones in here. This is a pole bean that got mixed in with them, and I think all my pole beans are in here. I need to get a couple more of these bigger containers for peas and beans because I really like the plastic container rather than a plastic bag. It just looks a little bit better. But I have some interesting varieties of beans that I will eventually one day grow. I thought this one was cool. It's supposed to be a drying bean, I believe, but it says ancient southwestern bean variety, viable seeds originally recovered from an archaeological site. So that's really cool. And I live in the Southwest, so they should do well here. But I'm not growing those now. And then somehow there's a lettuce inside my bag of beans. So I had been growing that in my hydroponics indoor thingies that I don't do anymore. So that's why that was out. And it's open, so I'll seal it. This is one of the reasons I love ordering from Baker Creek. It was a free gift. I probably have 3 or 4 packs of this variety. Put that with the lettuce. And then I have some moringa seeds that I got from my sister. That's why it says Z's. Her name is Zeta. And I have some moringa seeds that I got from Baker Creek. And I will try to plant those again in the spring. They're supposed to do really well here in the summer, so. But those don't fit in a container. They're really fat seeds, and I don't want them getting broken, so I'm not putting them in a container. Until I can locate some more of these small containers, my pole beans are in a bag. All right, so what I was going to look at, because it's what I need to start soon, was my pepper plants. And actually, I have a thing of nasturtium out that I need to put away. This is that nasturtium that's growing in the bottom of the green stalk with the variegated leaves. It's called Alaska variegated nasturtium. And it's beautiful. We love it. So put that packet away and then we'll talk about peppers. I just need to get a whole second one of these and then I can put everything in here. Just have like 5 containers of beans. Anyway, here are my peppers. Peppers hot, peppers not hot. I went through these a couple weeks ago and basically sorted them by the ones I want to grow and the ones that I don't want to grow for myself again. So I will keep them separated, show them to you and tell you why I do or don't want to grow them. This is one that I got with my green stalk. So it says green stalk there. And it says early jalapeno, so that's why I wanted to try it, because it says early, so we'll see if it's actually early. So I'm going to grow some of those for me. This is the one I'm most excited about, the Megatron hybrid jalapeno, and I ordered that one from Haas Seeds, and Heather at Sage and Stone grew these, and they're like huge peppers, so I'm excited to grow that. And then of course I love my Anaheim that I have out there. I've used these seeds. I need to tape it shut so it doesn't spill. But these ones are doing well for me here now, so they're gonna do well for me again, I hope. And then I have, of course, the Craig's Grande jalapeno, which is awesome because it was a free gift. And I have to tape that one shut too. And a lot of these say pack for 2024, which was last year, so I planted them in 2024. They're still going to grow fine. I might put an extra seed in each cell just to make sure I get good germination, but they shouldn't have any problems. They've been stored in a cool, dry place, and they'll be fine. I have this one in my I want to grow pile, but I'm not sure why. Oh, I think this one might be good as part of the pickled jalapeno relish that I made. So that's why I have this one. I planted a couple of them this year and I think I ended up giving them to my sister. But there's only like 2 or 3 seeds left in here, so figured I might as well plant them. And then I have my 3 different cayenne peppers, the red, orange, and purple. And the purple one is the one that's growing out there right now, but it's ripening to red. So, that's weird, but I can still use it. But I'm going to try to grow all 3 of them again. This year I had grown all 3 of them, and I read or saw a video or something. Somebody said that peppers like to hold hands. That's a saying that is true. They like to be close enough together to touch, and they do well. As you can see out in my garden, they're all intertwined with each other in some spots. But someone had posted something about planting 2 peppers in one spot and letting them grow together and then do that. So I had planted the orange and the purple one together because I thought it would look cool to grow like that. And they both died. So I don't know if it just doesn't work like that or if the plants were just in a bad spot or didn't want to work, because the ones that I planted separately, only one of them survived too. I'll just tell you, Arizona summer is a hard thing to survive for people and plants. So the purple one says It has some sweetness in the flavor profile. The orange one says, enjoy with caution. And then the red one, I got these seeds at Dollar Tree. It grew really well for me in 2024 spring garden. And it lasted all through the summer and it got huge. It was seriously like the size and height of me. It was a very big plant. And it lasted up until probably January of this last year. So I'm definitely going to do that one again. Let me see what it says. Slender, very hot peppers are excellent for pickling and canning as well as for drying. The wrinkled 5-inch long fruits are pencil slim, maturing from dark green to fiery red. So I'm looking forward to a long red pepper. That's where I've been hanging my cayenne peppers, and they're only like 2 inches. So I want to be able to string some up like that are 5 inches long. So I think it would be really pretty. So definitely looking forward to growing those. And now on to the ones I'm not planning on growing for myself, but I'm still going to plant and either gift them to my sisters or I try to sell, post them on Marketplace or something. So I have the 3 different colors of jalapeno. See, this is the pumpkin one. No, this is the orange one. The orange spice is the one that was ripening to almost red, and I couldn't tell the difference, but it is actually the orange one. And then the pumpkin one's a little bit yellow, orange, and then the yellow one is very yellow. So I'll be growing those, but not for myself. I don't like how small they are. They're a fun novelty, and they probably provide a little bit of a different flavor, but I want big jalapenos that I can stuff. I made jalapeno poppers for Thanksgiving, and they were amazing, but these ones just don't get big enough. This is like actual size, pretty much, how big they get. So I'll be planting those for other people, along with this one. I think I might have one of these planted out there that survived the summer, but I'm not 100% sure. But it says 1 to 2 inch fruit, and I'm not looking for 1 to 2 inch fruit. I'm looking to 4 to 6 inch fruit. Something that I can stuff and eat. But I will still grow those. I'll give them to other people or I'll sell some. Well, this one's in my I'm not going to grow it pile, but I think I actually want to have 1 or 2 of these. The Serrano. One of the hottest peppers available. I could make a hot sauce with these. My son really likes a spicy, like buffalo style sauce. So I might try one of those for myself. Man, if you don't have some of this tape and you have seeds, you should get some of this tape. Because even the ones with the stuff that sticks shut, the sticky stuff is not really lasting on all of these. So you don't have to get the pretty one with flowers on it either. You can just get masking tape, but it'll do the same job. This is a Bikino yellow piquillo pepper. This pepper was in my not growing it thing, but after reading, it says, pointed fruits have a tart flavor with a slight smoky heat. I feel like that might be a really good addition to like a paprika powder. So I think, or maybe even pickled, put some of that in the relish or something. But there's only a few seeds in there. So I might keep 1 or 2 of those for myself. Plus they're cute. And it says container friendly, so I might have to be a container gardener. We'll see. This is another one that I'm not going to be growing for myself. It's ornamental, but it is still edible, and it's very spicy. So this is like the type of thing that you would find. It says ornamental, but it's still edible. It's just really spicy. So I'll grow some of those to sell. There aren't a ton of seeds in here. I'll probably give 1 or 2 to my sister too. She likes spicy. I grew these last year and did not like them. They did really, really well. I actually saw a picture on my Facebook memories this morning of this plant, and it was just going crazy. And there were peppers galore, but we did not like them at all because they're spicy. And when I have a peppercini, a pickled peppercini, I don't want it to burn my face off. So I need to find a sweet peppercini variety. And it's not this one. So I'll probably grow some of those to sell, gift, and whatever else. And then last, we've talked about this, outside, and we know that I'm not growing it again because it's not what I wanted it to be. I guess it does say on here, medium heat, a bit milder than a jalapeno, so that's on me for not reading, I guess, but I did not want a big spicy green pepper. So I will grow some of these to sell for sure. This says the pods reach 1 foot in length. So imagine a jalapeno that long, that'd be great. So for now, this is on the not for me list, but I'm still gonna grow it for other people. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might use some of the peppers that are out there and try to make like a jalapeno popper, but a Big Jim pepper. Because if it works as that, then I might keep these. So for now, they're on the top of the not growing it for myself list. And that's all the spicy ones. Hello, sweetheart, how are you?
Great.
I need to sift out some soil and fill up some trays before I start planting, but I do plan on starting to plant this week. What's the date? Yeah, definitely this week, because next week's going to be busy, and then after that it gets a little late. All right, let's move on to the not hot peppers. This is one I'm not going to grow for myself, but I will plant the rest of the seeds in here. There's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 seeds in there. I'll plant those for someone else, but I'm not going to grow them for myself. These ones I grew in the spring, and they did pretty decently in the spring, and they died in the summer, but they are crazy looking. They're like big, long, scary looking fingers. They look like they'd be super spicy, and then you bite them and they're actually sweet. But I don't think I want those for myself. If I grew them, it would be for a paprika, which I can make with just about any sweet pepper. So I will plant them for other people, but not for myself. And the next one I'm not planting for myself is sweet bonnet. I'm sure they're totally fine and sweet and whatever, but they're really small. And I want some big peppers, just for the novelty of big peppers, I guess, but I'll plant those for other people. Okay, so this past summer at Safeway, a grocery store near me, they had long peppers. Like, if I can find a picture, I'll show you, but they were probably 15 to 18 inches long. And so I saved seeds from those. There were yellow ones and there were red ones. And this is actually what the volunteer, there's a pot out there that has a volunteer pepper plant in it that I point out in garden tours. And so that's one of these seeds. I don't remember which color, but it's one of them. So I saved yellow and red from one time that I bought them, and then yellow and red from another time that I bought them, and then I have some sweet mini peppers from the grocery store. So I will try to grow all the ones that I saved for myself, and probably not for other people, just for myself. The giant Marconi looks similar to what the peppers were that I got at Safeway, so I'm going to grow that and the Safeway one side by side to see if they are the same thing. This one says 8-inch long peppers, so I don't know if they're the same thing, but I'm going to try them and put them side by side as a little experiment. So I'm going to tuck that seed packet in with the Safeway ones. And then I did not remember that I actually do have sweet peppercini, so I'll be growing those for myself and probably some extras. And then I have sweet banana, which I have out in the garden right now, but it's not from this seed packet. The one that's out in the garden was from Home Depot as a plant, not as a seed. So I'm going to start those. I'm going to have about 10 of these if I have space for them. They actually are pretty compact. I'll probably put them in grow bags or something. But I love shishitos, and I have yet to have a great harvest of them. And I just want a great harvest of shishitos. This is Edgevarsky, which I have out there. I should have read and put it in a different spot. This says stocky 2-foot plants. So that's good for a container or like the edge of a bed, but I should not have put it in between 2 tall plants that I have out there. So that's why that one's not doing well outside. But I definitely plan on growing that one again, because the 1 or 2 that I actually did get to harvest were pretty tasty. The next 2, I'm going to grow alongside those Safeway peppers also. They are the Corno di Toro, red and a yellow. And they're supposed to get really long, and it's a red one and a yellow one, so it might be what those ones were. I have tried the red one before. I have not opened the yellow packet, but that plant didn't survive the summer, so I don't have it outside right now. But I'm going to put that one in there with the giant Marconi. And then this is another one that might be similar. This one says, produces a ton of peppers, each reaching almost 12 inches long. So that might be another one. I'm just going to try them all side by side. And not necessarily planted side by side. When I say that, I'm going to grow them as comparisons to each other to see which one is more similar to the Safeway ones. This one says tall plants over 3 feet high, so that's good to know. I need to pay attention to that this year and definitely plant those not right next to a short one, because I made that mistake this year. This is another one that is short that I have out there that got shaded out and isn't doing super well. Let's see if it says that it's short. Believed to be the sweetest of all peppers and with the thickest flesh we've seen, Lesia is a total crowd pleaser with intensely juicy texture. Plants are stocky and high yielding. Okay, so stocky, short. You need to pay attention to that. But this one, I will absolutely be growing again. I don't have very many seeds. I might grow 3 or 4 of them and like separate them for everything else so that I can save seeds. Because it is an heirloom variety, so as long as it doesn't get cross-pollinated with any of these other guys, I can get true seed out of it if I save seed. So I'm very excited for that one. This is probably the smallest sweet pepper I'll grow. I prefer a big pepper. It's more fun to say, look at the giant pepper I grew, not look at all the little tiny, I don't know. The next like 7, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 4, 5. So the next 5 are bell peppers. I have the YOLO Wonder, which will turn red when it's ripe. I have the Diamond Bell. It says they begin as translucent ivory and mature into a pale yellow and finally a dazzling red. So that'll be nice to know when it's done growing but not completely ripe. I can harvest it at the pale yellow. And then if I want it to go red, then I can let it get red. But my problem that I'm having with my bell peppers out there, which I'm currently growing the Yellow Monster, is if I want a green pepper, I'm not sure what point to pick it at. And the last one I picked just tasted like grass because it wasn't anywhere near ready. So I like that that one changes a little bit without changing completely. But next variety is Yellow Monster. I have it out there. I like the idea of an 8-inch long bell pepper. So this plant is pretty short out there. So again, it's something that I would have to remember to plant on the side or in a pot. I might just grow everything in pots this year. I don't know where we're going to be. Doesn't say anything about the size of the plant, just the size of the fruit. So, but based on my experience out there, it is short. This is one that I liked so much that I accidentally bought 2 packets of it because I forgot that I got the first one and I bought a second one. But I'm not sad about it because I absolutely love it. It is a delicious, delicious fruit. Let's see what it says. The flesh of this thick-walled pepper is supremely crunchy and juicy, easily our favorite snacking and raw eating pepper, adding a dazzling color to salads and well suited for cooking too. So, I'm not the only one who loves it. Apparently whoever writes the stuff on the back of the seeds loves it too. It's a very, very good pepper, and it's a bell style pepper. So I put it with my bell peppers, even though it doesn't say bell pepper on it. If I could only grow one sweet pepper, it would probably be this one. And the last one, this is a new one I haven't grown yet. Colossal long bell peppers have a delicious thick flesh. They start out green and ripen bright red. This is the Ozark Giant bell pepper. It doesn't say how big they get, but it says giant, so big. So that'll be good with the Yellow Monster. I'll have a yellow pepper and a red pepper. And I like an orange pepper, but the blot are kind of like an orange pepper. The blot do well, so I'm definitely okay with not having an orange one specifically right now. And then the last two on my absolute must grow, of course, is my love, my jalapeno. Love the flavor and crunch of a jalapeno, but can't take the heat. This truly heatless jalapeno is perfect for those with sensitivities or aversions to the heat. However, traditional jalapeno pepper, great for pickling, stuffing, poppers, and salsa. This variety is very early and prolific. So I can't really speak to the early part because I didn't get much of it in spring when I planted. But since I have it staked up and it was able to actually grow without being shaded out, it is pretty prolific. But I'll probably grow several of these. I really, really, really like the jalapeno. And this is one that I started, and I put it in a spot in the garden that got way, way, way too much afternoon heat. And the shade cloth were above, but they didn't like go down to the side. So it got like the super hot sunset heat, and it didn't survive. And then I tried to transplant it, and it didn't survive even more. And it says right here, peppers often appreciate a bit of afternoon shade during the hottest summer weather. So my two pepper beds that I have out there, where everything did the best, and even half of them still died in the heat, are shaded by a 11-foot tall orange tree in the afternoon. So that's why those pepper plants did the best. And most of the pepper plants in my big long main bed died. There's only 2 of them that survived. But yeah, definitely gonna try to grow. Oh, didn't even show you yet. It's habanada. So it's like habanero with no spice. So I'm excited to try that one. It's supposed to be really sweet and delicious. And I'm a bit of a baby with spice, so I definitely could not handle a regular habanero. I do like some spice. I do like jalapeno poppers and salsa and stuff like that. I just don't like crazy spicy like habanero or like ghost peppers or stuff like that. My kids like stuff like that. They're crazy. So yeah, that's the peppers. Sweet and spicy and not sweet, but also not spicy. Whatever. But yeah, we'll have a video planting those sometime this week.